that the Valor Series here and Los Angeles, California has to offer. But we're back. Game number 3 of our first quarterfinal. SK Vitality 1-1. Winner take all.
Yep, and looks like SK is not going to set up the invade this time. And look at the positioning of Vitality. They're positioning perfectly to get information to see the invade is going to happen. The invade is not going to happen. Lubu starts the Vision Bird immediately down on the bot lane there. And then Wonder Woman right away starts the wave here. So this is an even starting matchup here. No team is taking the aggression.
A little bit of patient maneuvering. The last match, it was Vitality that had to play a little bit more passive and ensure that SK wasn't going on the aggression. But now the super minion on their team was able to take game 2. And so now they're going to be one game away from upsetting our first big upset of the entire Valor Series, the 8th seed, now 1-1 with SK as number 1.
Yeah, so for those of you wondering, Lubu took punish here, and he knew that he could get the Vision Bird first because Malik is his lane counterpart. Malik does not have punish. Malik has heal. So SK has 2 heals, and because Lubu knows that Malik can't contest jungle, Lubu is going to be able to farm the bird and Malik's little creep there constantly because he has punish. He has the jungle last hit advantage with that punish talent.
Any time, any way that you can counter jungle and harass the enemy jungler, you're going to find yourself in a little bit better position, as now you're going to see a 3-man invade on the top side of the jungle. It's going to force Redemption to walk away. Going to try to get that kill. Ooh, I'm not too sure who that one went over onto, as now Malik is going to sit.
Yeah, and look at it. So one thing about Tulin is he is a poke. He has a lot of poke. He also has a B ability that lets him kind of teleport in the middle of the fight, so he can play aggressive or back off. And look at this rotation by the side of SK here. They're able to catch out Azure and get the kill, and that gives them the bat, which is a huge first objective for SK here. Their rotations have been just on point lately.
They have. Going after every Spirit Citadel, every Abyssal Dragon, ensuring that every opportunity that they have to take those resources away from Vitality, they're going to do just that. And the passive, less proactive play that they had in game number 2 is definitely changing, as already...
Oh, and there's a Zenio comes out there. It gives a 40% damage reduction on the person he's targeting, and also gives a slight heal. So that's what makes Zenio so good to basically counter-engage the opponent, because 40% damage reduction during that channeling is huge for the person that he's saving.
2 minutes, 45 seconds in the match. Up 300 gold, SK. Their first lead of the game, as things have slowed themselves down a little bit. Both roamers on the bottom side of the jungle. Wonder Woman, a very priority target in the just a huge recipe for success that they had in game number 2.
So now we need to look at the dragon side of the map here. Who is positioning, who's posturing to take map control and win the dragon? Bane is just baiting it and pulling it out to reset him. But the team needs to basically, who can rotate and meet up first, get map control of the dragon, get vision, and then secure the dragon is going to put Vitality into the game here, or get SK more ahead, whoever secures. So that's the most important objective right now before the 4-minute mark, is that dragon.
Obviously, we have the 6-minute Dark Slayer spawning. We had a very delayed Dark Slayer take, as neither one of these teams wanted to push themselves too much on it.
Oh, nice stun there, but no one following up on there. If they followed up, they could have killed the L'Oreal. So one thing that with Murad here, he's level 5. He has his ultimate unlocked. He needs a minion to stack his ultimate. He needs to hit minions, get 4 stacks, and then dash in and then ult the enemy team here. He's only get 4 stacks, so he should poke with his ultimate here. He's not going to use that to poke. He needs to poke with Murad more, because based on how I've seen Southeast Asia teams play it, Murad is a pain in the butt to deal with because he has constant free poke ability. He should poke right here. He can poke under tower, not even get focused by the tower. There we go, right there. See? The tower can't hit him when he's ulting. He's invulnerable, and he cannot be targeted. If he keeps doing that and poking them, they're going to win every single team fight Vitality plays to Murad's win condition.
Just over the 4-minute mark. Abyssal Dragon being taken again, and no matter what happened in game number 2, you cannot disagree on the fact that SK's Abyssal Dragon timings have been great.
Oh, gets it with the punish there. And this is a game of skill here. Who is able to punish there? And Vex timed that punish perfectly, because in the game, you know how much damage your punish does. You can look at the health of the Abyssal Dragon. If your punish does 1,000, Abyssal Dragon does 1,000, he can punish right there. But what pros do is Abyssal Dragons at 1,100, they actually punish and do an ability at the same time. So both damage comes out instantly at the same time, and they secure it that way. That's how you guys can outplay your opponents, by punishing and using an ability at the same time before the life of the Abyssal Dragon or any jungle objective is above your punish damage. So just pay attention to that and watch how these people do it. It's pretty amazing.
4 of the 5 members of SK Gaming are up onto the top side. It is now at the mark where the siege minions have been deployed. Lots of extra damage onto these towers. And again, a much slower mark. Vitality have done a great job at sincerely pushing themselves away from that loss that they had in game number 1.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see how Murad is going to play here, because again, he needs to get his the jungle minions. Like win condition to fight against a Murad, you clear out the jungle. You don't give him any minions for him to stack on. If he can stack on a lane and start poking them out, that's what they need to do with Murad, because he's at a huge power spike right now. He's level 8, but this is bad for Murad. If he gets caught out and he doesn't have his stacks up, he's in a really bad position. He can't do anything. He just literally observes and has to walk around.
And so now here is where the fights are starting. It's going to be our first skirmish of the day. Bond going very, very low. He's going to have to be forced to run away with that Thane, as the rest of SK is going to realize.
Yeah, his ultimate's right up. He's going to ultimate right here onto the Malik. Oh, he's not going to use the ultimate.
Not enough damage just yet.
There we go. There it is coming out. And here's the Malik.
That's going to be the benefit that Vitality was looking for, as they're going to have now 4 members coming into the middle of the side of the map. They want to be able to take down that first turret. Actually, they're going to ping right off. That's going to be an Abyssal Dragon available. They want that gold. They want that experience. They want to be able to get themselves as far ahead of SK as possible. Yeah,
exactly. So one thing when Murad, again, Murad, like Liliana, he has 2 iframes, which makes him like good to actually stupid good, because if you look at his ability, his another dimension, the B ability, that circle that he releases, it slows the enemy unit in it, and it decreases their armor. If they pass it, they take extra damage and an armor reduction, so that makes him even more powerful. And on top of it, his ultimate also allows him not to be targeted. So he has 2 abilities where he can use to dodge a lot of Suns and CCs if it's timed properly. This is why Murad is so highly played in a lot of the metas across the regions.
And we haven't even seen Murad's full potential just yet. Wait till he gets a couple more items, is allowed to scale himself up into the mid game, gets a couple extra points in those abilities, because that is where the true damage and the true horror of him as a hero starts to come off the mark, as now SK secures themselves another Abyssal Dragon. That's going to be 2 for the game, up about 800
This
gold.
is looking really good. Ryoma got level 10 before anyone else on the side of Vitality did. SK has a level lead. They should abuse this. Look at the level 9s versus the level 8s and 9s on the side of Vitality here. This is where SK now needs to force and push their advantage here. And even, honestly, dive under tower. You get a 4 or 3-man rotation, and then dive under tower to kill like a Labu by himself, and then secure the tower. So let's see if SK is going to do a gameplay like this to push their early lead even further.
Got a little bit of a side overload from Vitality, securing themselves up on towards that top side of the map. That Sentinel wanting to be the next juicy encore on that menu, so they're going to take that down, and it looks like they're going to 4-man roam up to the top. The bird gets taken, so that's going to be a little bit of extra vision for them and knowledge of where the members of SK are lurking.
Yeah, nice tower taken there by Vitality there. They're able to take 2 towers in this game, so they have an objective lead, which opens up map control. Even though SK has a slight level lead, it's now negated because of what they just did. Very nice play by Vitality there. The game is pretty even, but since Vitality has 2 towers over SK, they're ahead.
Sudaro going to get very low,
and
just enough of
bait.
a recoil. Seven's going to get himself to go down. The pull's not going to be enough. A sliver of health left remaining for Sudaro, but he's going to be forced to recoil regardless. That's going to be the death screen being taken for 7. Wonder Woman going to have to wait a couple minutes before she joins back onto the terrace battlefield.
Yeah, that was such a nice bait by Zenio there. He did a really good job getting really low. So Taro just baited that Wonder Woman, and the team was able to engage onto her and secure the kill. But they need to convert this to an objective. Once you get a kill like this, you have to convert into objective. Instead of pushing that top lane, Murad leaves and rotates and goes to his own jungle, which I think is a little odd, because once you get a kill in lane like that, push your advantage and try to get the kill and push down more towers.
Well, you talked about diving being a potential option. It's going to be Moon picking up that kill on the carry Vex. He's going to have to go back to the grave. Poseidon trying to get himself healed up. That's just enough. He will survive. And now it's going to be the members of Vitality that are going down. That is a 2 for 3 in favor of SK Gaming.
Yeah, this is
Triple
the power.
kill for Poseidon.
This is the power of a L'Oreal. You cannot fight her in her smite. She drops a judgment circle, and it basically reduces all her cooldowns of her abilities really fast, and it helps her stack her passive, which is what makes her so powerful. Divine Punishment. Her passive, every 4 marks triggers an explosion that does a decent amount of damage. More importantly, it's AoE, and it's true damage. So if you're around her and you're getting hit by this explosion, you're like bunching up against L'Oreal. You're basically letting her do her win condition, and she basically was able to kill 3 people. And on top of that, her passive Divine Punishment gives her 110 HP after the explosion happens. So it makes her very sustainable and durable during these fights in her ultimate like that.
Another Abyssal Dragon is going to go down in favor of SK Gaming. Precision has been surgical on these Abyssal Dragons, ensuring that every opportunity that they have to take it away from Vitality, they have done just that. Dark Slayer is on the menu as well, could potentially be in order for both of these teams. We're rounding up near the 11-minute mark, dead even, the closest match that we've seen out of this
and there's
series.
a few conditions to take Dark Slayer. You either want to get the map control and have vision on the enemy. If they're not close enough, you can rush it, or you kill somebody, you kill 1 or 2 people, you get the entire team low so they can't contest it. You know, there's a lot of things you can do, but a team cannot try to rush the Dark Slayer if the entire enemy team is up as well, given that both teams are so close here.
And we cannot ignore the impact that Poseidon has had on this L'Oreal. Last game was absolutely astounding, already sitting at 4-0-1, a triple kill in that last engagement as we're just over the 11-minute mark. This is where SK could potentially, you know, get themselves a victory. Had a little bit of a scare in game number 2.
Yeah, and watch Poseidon. Once Poseidon finishes Hecate's, L'Oreal is going to do so much damage, because the reason why is because it gives 30% ability power buff across the board, all of her ability power, and it gives magic pierce. I think 45 or so magic pierce, but that basically buffs up the true damage that she does. So L'Oreal is really good into a comp that likes to stack up on top of her like this, a dive comp. She's basically really good at anti-diving when she fights within her ultimate smite.
A little bit of a tankiness there for the Wonder Woman. Have the tower for the protection. Abon and Poseidon are going to join the fray. And here's where that L'Oreal damage is absolutely demolishing the members of Vitality. It's going to force a retreat as now they try to go themselves back over onto the re-gauge. It is hectic all across the market. Isn't a full, it's a 5v4. As you can see, the proxy farming coming up from the bot side of SK Gaming. They're going to be able to get themselves to shut down, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take the tower.
Yeah, one thing that Poseidon did there is he used ultimate too early. He should have saved it and waited for the entire enemy team to dive him, and that's a good time to turn your ultimate up and then just turn that fight around. He used it to engage, and the enemy team was already retreating. The Alubu, everyone was already running away, so he had to then get out of his ultimate to chase down the enemy team and put himself in a little tough position where Vitality was then able to focus him down. So that is really important to time and make a decision on when you want to use that ultimate or not.
But it's efficiency that allowed SK to survive. Yes, a couple members went down, a couple members had a little bit of missteps, but look at how much damage they were able to do on the bottom side of the map. Tier 1 turret, as well as the Tier 2 is almost done. Pitch did a really good job at ensuring to keep himself successful.
Yeah, exactly. They at least traded something so they didn't find as much behind. But now Vitality is looking pretty good. They have a 2K, over 2K gold lead and a kill lead as well. So that puts them in a really good position, even though they were not able to get the they got 0 dragons, and now they got their first dragon, which now puts them a little even more in the lead. 4K gold lead now, looking pretty good for Vitality.
7.8 thousand gold into Redemption's Murad, something that we need to keep an eye on as he continues to get stronger into this match. 13.5 minutes into this game. Vitality up with themselves a 4,000 lead, but leads don't mean anything necessarily. We saw an 8,000 gold deficit from SK in game number 2, and they were able to claw themselves back and secure themselves a gold lead at some point.
Yeah, one thing that Murad
match.
needs to rush, he needs to rush Fenrir's Tooth. Fenrir's Tooth is that red sword that faces to the left. The passive does, it increases all damage dealt by 30% when the target's HP is below 50%. So Murad goes in there ult, and if you're under half HP, that item enhances and empowers all of Murad's attacks. And once he gets that item, he's a monster in the late game.
We're now just over 14. It's going to be Wonder Woman caught out again, but we know how tanky and how defensive she is for his team. As SK, the rest of their members are going to rotate on. Everyone's in the into the fight now.
Yeah.
It's going to be Ika's going to go down. That's going to be now moved down to 5v4. Poseidon going to pick himself up. Yet another kill. This L'Oreal doing an unbelievable amount of damage. Moon very close to death himself. They're going to decide themselves to back off, but that's going to be a 2 for 0.
What was different in this fight was L'Oreal smited, and everyone was fighting around the smite underneath L'Oreal's ultimate. Again, that is the win condition for Poseidon. You cannot fight a L'Oreal and bunch up like that. She is going to excel. She does AoE damage. She blinks faster. When she lands her blink abilities, it increases the cooldown by 4 seconds, and on top of her ultimate reducing her cooldown, she can blink multiple times in the middle of that fight and set off all these explosions from her Divine Punishment, and she does so much damage. So if we look at the damage calculation, we're going to see Poseidon doing probably the most damage on this side of the enemy team here because of how he's playing L'Oreal and using the ultimate to really counter-engage against Vitality's huge dives.
The dives of Vitality, as well as the damage dealing of Redemption and that Murad, as he is almost rounding up on that 5-digit gold mark, sitting at 9.3 thousand gold. 15.5 minutes into this game, we do have the Abyssal Dragon as well as the Dark Slayer up and available. Now, if you're SK, if you're having the lead that you've been able, or the deficit rather, that you've been able to have, even though you've got that 6-1 and 2 Poseidon, how does your strategy change here at 60 minutes
It's all on Poseidon. They have to basically bait a dive because Murad wants to go in. They need to either catch Murad out. They need to make sure there's no minions, so Murad can't stack on minions and use his ultimate to poke them down. And they basically fight on top L'Oreal's ult.
This is going to be Vitality getting themselves caught out. Only had, or did not have every single member joining the fray, but now it is going to be everyone finally coming themselves back. Pitch is going to be in the back line with Poseidon. You've got the tanks onto the back line. You said it was going to be all up to her. Still alive, bobbing and weaving, moving around, and that is going to be a 3 for 3, but it looks like it's actually going to be SK. The clean sweep for SK Gaming.
It turns out, and then again, L'Oreal fought in her ult, so was able to do some damage. And I feel like Poseidon could have done more damage, but they had a really good fight there regardless because Vitality split up. Their entire team was not focusing on the same. Lubu were down on below along with Lumber trying to get the Malik and the L'Oreal. So it actually worked on SK's favor because of how Vitality's kind of split their focus there. So very nice play by Vitality by SK to be able to turn this game around, and now it puts them almost even there because of how Vitality did not focus in that team fight.
17 minutes into this match, it was the juggling of Poseidon, a member that we didn't talk about too much. It was Vex that we were wanting to look at, as well as 07 coming into this match, but Poseidon has stood up, and it's matches like these that dictate the goods between the greats, any member being able to step up at any point in time, as now the Dark Slayer is becoming even more of a priority for one of these teams, because as we get later into this game, the death timers being longer, all it takes is one ace, one clean team fight that could end the game. Yeah,
I love what L'Oreal's building too. She has the tomb item, which has Soul Prison as a passive, and with Murad building so much lifesteal in its items, Tulin building Rhea's Blessing, which also has magic lifesteal, L'Oreal counters that tomb actually decreases HP regeneration by 50% per 1.5 seconds for every time she lands abilities or hits damage there. So really nice counter building by Poseidon there on this L'Oreal.
And so, as we are up on this 18-minute mark, all 5 members of SK are lurking themselves. Oh no, it looks like they're going to catch Moon out. Not going to be enough to come off the mark, as they are going to do just enough to lurk him array. Redemption and that Murad saying, all right, we maybe don't want to do this per se. Sudaro is going to be in the bot lane, getting himself a split push. That's going to force the Ryoma roam down by Vex, and it looks like the L'Oreal is going to be roaming around too. They might want to be able to try to see if they can get a collapse. Yeah, exactly. And you can see the item from Ryoma is he has Fenrir's Tooth. Fenrir's Tooth is also on the Malik, which when a target's HP is below 50%, they do 30% more damage. So Ryoma is going to do a ton of damage, and Malik will do a little more damage when their opponents have less than 50% HP. But Ty is able to catch out SK here, which gives them now map control. Then now they're going to rush the Dark Slayer. This is why in the late game, you cannot get caught out. You have to rotate together as a team, because when you get caught out, you're going to hand over the objective like this very easily to the other team. And the Dark Slayer is going to go over into hands of Redemption and Vitality. They're going to be able to have that extra regen as well. as that pushing power, and this is where things are going to start to potentially turn themselves around. I say turn around. They've been up about 3,000 to 4,000 gold the entire time, but it seems as if SK is winning every single one of these fights. Tier 2 turret in the mid lane goes down immediately. The members of SK do not want to engage. Pitch is still down for another 15 seconds.
Yeah, the thing is, Murad doesn't have a minion and there's no wave, so he's basically not going to be helpful in this fight. If he goes in, he's going to get deleted, and that's exactly what happens there. He needed a minion or a wave there to stack up and then use his ultimate to poke down the enemy team, but because he rushed in there onto the tower, L'Oreal and the team just basically eliminated Murad, and he has no defense. Murad doesn't need defense. You have to play very sneaky with him like an assassin and a ninja from far away. And because the minions were killed, he did not have his win condition up.
Win conditions were not at all, and this is where things are deadly and disastrous for the members of Team Vitality.
This might be game, actually. This is enough time. If the wave comes in time, they can finish the game, actually.
They've got 36. They've got a heck of a lot of damage. Sudaro, he's got the tankiness to try to help himself out, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be enough. Azure still up for another 15 seconds. I believe this is going to be enough time. There are enough tanky. You're going to see Sudaro trying to get himself to stall. Poseidon's going to be able to do the match, but it doesn't matter. The minion takes down game number 2, but it's SK's dominance that takes number 3.
Yeah, Vitality did so well, though, in this best of 3. They really showed themselves and proved that they are a team that can actually beat SK and go toe-to-toe. So really great effort from Vitality, but SK just showing their dominance. They're just better at that team fight. They're better understanding their win conditions. They're better at team movements and rotations. So SK definitely deserved that win.
We were expecting a very powerful quarterfinal match between SK and Vitality. We were expecting a lot of powerful teams in general here for Season 1 of the Valor series presented by AT&T, and regardless, that was every single member of SK pulling themselves strong.
Yeah, for sure. And Poseidon really shined in that game. Honestly, whenever he had a good Smite ultimate and he had the Judgment Circle around him, he was just leading and dancing around the entire enemy team of Vitality. And whenever he missed that Judgment Circle and didn't Smite properly and use his ultimate in the right position, they lost a lot of those key fights. So Poseidon definitely played a big role in helping his team win.
Not only did you have SK as a team playing in a very coordinated fashion, precise, surgical precision, if you want to call it, on those rotations, but every member was doing their part. Poseidon in the back